Hey everyone, so in this video I wanted to share some thoughts about warming up. So this is a routine I've been doing for many years, and I've never had any sort of injuries or wrist pain or finger issues, and I play with, like this G&L guitar is set up with 12 to, I think it's 54 on the bottom, so pretty heavy. And then my Gibson hollow body guitar is set up with 13 to 52, so also pretty heavy. And I play for multiple hours every day, and I teach a bunch and perform here and there, and I really think part of the reason that I haven't had any issues is because of these warm up, or the process of warming up that I go through every day. So I just wanted to share these warm up exercises, or these ways of warming up with you guys, because I think it's something, I've put out, like, I don't know, 3 or so videos now of warming up, because I don't think guitar players take it seriously enough, and it's something that was kind of put into me or brought to my attention kind of early in my going with the guitar. I read interviews with people like Steve Morse and Joe Satriani, and these guys that play very technically. They always talked about warming up, and they really stressed it. So I got that in me early on to do that, and it's really been beneficial, not only in terms of preventing injuries, but also in terms of helping my guitar playing, which is something I'm going to talk about here. So yeah, basically every day before I play, I run my forearms and hands under warm water just to kind of get things loosened up. Plus, it feels good. And then I'll just kind of do this, just to get the blood flowing. And practicing is something I do at the beginning of every day. I usually practice for like 2 hours to 2.5 hours every day in the morning, and then more throughout the day along with teaching. But anyways, yeah, so that's the first thing I do, just to get the blood going, and then I lightly stretch, like this, very lightly, and then I'll do it this way as well. And then I studied piano for a while, and the piano teacher I had suggested to do this. So you take, your thumb and your other fingers here, and you put them between your fingers to kind of stretch them out a little bit. And it's not a lot of pressure, it's just a little bit to kind of just open things up. And you do it with those fingers there. And then from there, it's, it already starts feeling a lot better. So I want to say also that I really don't recommend playing cold, especially during this time of year when it's cold out. The cold is just not good for our hands and our forearms and our guitar playing ultimately. So the warm water thing is just a great way to just take care of that. And like I said, it just feels good to just have everything nice and warm. There was a story about Steve Morse. He talked about, I think it was in Russia or somewhere, he was playing an outdoor gig, and it was freezing cold out, and he couldn't feel his fingers at all. So his guitar tech got him a bowl of warm water. So like between every song, he would go to the warm water to get things loosened up. But anyway, so and then at that point, I'll do this. Not the most exciting thing, but again, we're talking about warming up here. And so I'm going to talk about these benefits I mentioned earlier. So what I do is I'll put my fingers on a group of 4 frets. So 5, in this case, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the low E, A, and D, G strings. And I'll do that just to get my fingers acclimated or reacclimated to the strings and the frets. And then I'll just kind of do that, and then I'll go like this, do a mirror version of it. So I'll just kind of go between that and this, and then I'll go to another set of strings and do that. And then I might just take it and just move it around randomly. I'll just take it and I'm just, again, just getting the fingers reacclimated to the strings. It's not the prettiest sound, but the main thing is just warming up here. And then with that shape, here's kind of a cool thing that you can kind of do with it. Is, so let's take this one, groups frets 6 to 9, is to flip your first and second fingers back and forth like that. And then your second and third fingers back and forth like this. And then fourth and third fingers back and forth. So as you kind of move that shape around, you can do that with these 2-finger groups. And just kind of move it around. And I mean, it's very random. It's not like I'm trying to make anything pretty happening. In fact, I'm usually listening to music while I'm doing this. In fact, I'm always listening to music when I'm doing this. And yeah, I'll just kind of move that around for a while. And then it's already starting to feel better. And then the next thing I'll do is similar to that crab walk exercise I made a video about not that long ago. But basically it's just one finger moving at a time. So starting on, again, 4 frets, and then just moving one finger at a time. So I'll pick different combinations. So with, 1, 2, 3, 4, something to be aware of that's good to know is there's 24 combinations. So you can go the easy route of, well, I don't know about easy, but the initial step might be to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's an obvious one, but then you can go 1, 2, 4, 3, and proceed up the strings that way. So let's just do that. So 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3, in a very controlled way. Yeah, so there's a bunch of things that can be considered with this. Before I talk more about the finger combinations, is, we're warming up here, but we're also improving our mind-to-finger connection to be able to control each specific finger, which, of course, is going to be valuable for anything we play on the guitar, chords or single notes. So you're warming up, you're strengthening your mind-to-finger connection, and then the other thing that you can kind of focus on is, while doing this, is being right behind the frets. So for those that don't know, generally speaking, when you're right behind the fret, that's the sweet spot for getting notes to sound full, and also it's where you don't have to press as hard. So that's a like a detail that you can kind of be thinking about while you're doing this. And because we're warming up, it's super slow. So then you can really like get into these very minute details that are going to affect your guitar playing. So already it's warming up, but it's also, I consider this practicing. It's part of my practicing. So you're improving. You can improve like a bunch of things while warming up, which are things that you might not be considering while you're just playing normally. So it's really valuable time. And how long you should warm up for, it's really, there's no set number. But I would say I probably do about 30 minutes. Now, before I get into the rest of my warming up, let me talk about this finger combination thing. So you could go any number of finger combination, and that's what I do. I'll mix it up. So like 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1. So you can just really mix up the different finger combinations, and again, you're strengthening your ability to control your fingers. And so very valuable. So then after I do that, that's when I'll turn on the metronome and do scale sequences. So I did make a video, which is on my channel. if you want to check it out. I think it just labeled as scale sequences. And I share, I think, like 2 or 3 scale sequences I'll go through. And I'll go through a bunch of different tempos. So check out that video to get maybe some ideas about that. It's a great way to, again, warm up, but then work on other elements of your guitar playing. And with the scale sequences, then you're really working on mapping out tonalities on the instrument while warming up. And then, like I said, I do it with the metronome, so then I'm working on my time. And because I'm picking all the notes, then I'm working on my articulation and finger placement, like I mentioned before. So like all these things are being worked on while warming up. So I can't emphasize it enough about how beneficial it is to warm up. And I just don't see it talked about much. And I notice it with my private guitar students that they don't typically warm up, and they'll just kind of start playing. And really, like, warming up, I can't play, like, if I just sat down at the beginning of the day to play and just tried to start playing, I really couldn't play at my normal level unless I've gone through the process of warming up. In fact, Pat Metheny talks about warming up for 2 hours before every gig, and he actually came out with a book that I think he calls it Guitar Etudes. It's basically how he warms up, because when he hits the stage, he wants to be totally loose and not have technical limitations when he's trying to execute certain musical ideas. So yeah, I hope you guys found this valuable, and I'll be talking to you in another lesson to come soon. All right, thanks guys.